right. Hi, Brennan.
Hi, Jennifer Rose.
Hi, everyone. Okay, so we are here together. I am Jennifer Rose, and I'm here with my friend Brennan. I never know which way to point when it comes out, if I'm pointing to you or pointing to the wall. But Brennan agreed to come and participate in my project that I'm running on YouTube. This in the season of the Corona, we're putting on our crown of identity. And he so graciously decided to participate with me. So we're doing this project, and I am asking my friends and anyone who wants to participate with me what you would tell your 20-year-old self. And I've got three whys why I'm doing this. One is that I think that there's a wealth of knowledge in the world, and I love it that as we share our knowledge, it becomes a resource for people to go to. So sharing your knowledge. And also anyone that comes on with me, Brennan, today's your turn. You get to really think about it, think about the question, and to know what you know. Like you get to boom, drop it in. This is, I know what I know. And also anyone who's watching the project or participating in the project, as you go back and you think about who you were in your younger self, it gives you the opportunity to forgive yourself for not knowing then what you know now. So you're just giving yourself a hall pass. You're giving yourself a kitchen pass. You're just oh, I just didn't know any better. I forgive myself. So that's really the beauty of anyone who participates by either letting me interview you or even watching the video. You get to touch into that power of forgiving yourself. So that's my intro, Brennan. So now, drum roll, I'm going to ask you the question, Brennan. What would you tell your 20-year-old self? What would you tell him?
First of all, I'd say don't try to copy someone else's life, no matter how much you like them and respect them. At that time, when I was young, I had very low, almost no confidence in myself. So I watched other people.
Mm-hmm.
And if somebody seemed very confident, self-assured, and I would try to copy them. I would think, yeah, I should be like that. So I watched how they acted, what they said, their expressions, everything, and tried to do it.
Hmm.
And it was never totally satisfying, but I tried anyway. But then I would see someone else and that was equally confident and had it together, in my opinion. Oh, well, maybe I need to copy them.
Mm-hmm.
And it went from one to the other to the other. Never really being satisfied with the results and so on. So I would tell my 20-year-old self, you must find out what works specifically for you.
Hmm.
Deep in your mind, you already have all the information you need to have a happy life. Don't let the opinions of others keep you from the kind of life you want to live, especially your parents. My parents were devout Christians, missionaries,
Mm-hmm.
so on, and that was that wasn't working very good for me. I was
Yeah.
very conflicted. In some ways, it was very helpful. In other ways, it was not. In some ways, it was very harmful. Uh, and I would say the religion you were raised in has taught you some useful principles, but also some errors, like the belief in hell.
Mm-hmm.
I would encourage you to explore other beliefs and philosophies wherever curiosity guides you.
I love that. Yeah.
Have fun with it. Don't
Yes.
take life too seriously, which I tended to do.
I still tell myself that all the time. I'm just have fun with it. it's only life. What's a big deal? Don't take
Yeah,
yourself so seriously. All right, I didn't mean to interrupt, but
no
this is
problem.
all really great stuff. I'm just making some notes here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Another thing is, don't worry about mistakes.
Mm.
They're, they're a very good way to learn, maybe the best way to learn. So make lots of them,
Ooh,
you know?
yeah. Like giving yourself permission to like,
Yeah. Yeah.
what if that was your only purpose? Like we have this, there's a lot of anxiety around like finding your purpose in life. What if your purpose was just to make
Yes.
mistakes?
Yeah.
Make lots of mistakes. I'm writing that down too.
Yeah, and people would ask me, what do you want to do when you grow up and all, what do you want for a career and stuff like that. Other people around me I knew were planning their career. So I thought about every kind of work I could imagine. And I knew that none of them would satisfy me for very long
Mm-hmm.
because I would get bored with it. I want to do something else. I can't just stick to one thing all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd let myself off the hook on that one.
Yeah. Yeah. And did you did you feel like some of the things that you told me, like even though I asked you to think about it, did you
Mhm.
feel like you were able to know some of those things maybe in your late 20s, your late 30s, your 40s, your 50s, or did it all just dawn on you now? Like I'm just kind of curious, like how did you accumulate the body of knowledge, the wisdom?
It took quite a while. I went through a lot of crazy stuff, and
Yeah.
mentally and with religion and all that. And I never. Well, one thing that helped me was getting married at age 45,
Uh-huh.
and I'd been part of this really big church, really an international one that had some cult-like tendencies. I was
Mm-hmm.
part of it for 25 years, quite involved,
Hmm.
and but getting less and less happy toward the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
Really inwardly, and my wife picked up on it, and she said, "Why don't we try this other church?" It was, you know, just more regular. It wasn't so fundamental conservative and all that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I liked it. It was much. It was like a relief. And then I went from there. That's when I started exploring other ideas, other philosophies, anything that interests me. I had to take this guy for work. He had mental challenges, and
Right.
they recall. He liked to go to the library, so he would collect his picture books and his videos and all this stuff. And I went over by myself into the philosophy type area, and just all these books that I had never given myself permission to look at because in our church weren't really supposed to do that.
Right.
We're getting outside the bounds of what was uh, the Word of God and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I got set free in a lot of areas. I mean, I just would come home so happy at what I was discovering. I read something and say, yeah, that's how I know that's how God is. But I've never been taught this, so I never allowed myself to believe it and accept it. So I had a wonderful time with that.
That's so
My wife,
interesting. Oh, sorry. Go on.
well, my wife couldn't handle it. She did not like exploring all sorts of stuff. So
Okay.
that was the beginning of our parting. But
Yeah.
that was just all part. I see now it was all scripted out. Everything that happened was how it was supposed to happen. So it's all good. but it took a long time. It took, and really the the final clincher, I think, is the Course in Miracles.
Mm-hmm.
Involved in talking about that with other people that like it, and that's made a huge difference.
I love that you actually started off with don't try to copy someone else's life. Like, I think that's like very practical advice
Yeah,
because I totally understand that because there's this idea that everyone else like kind of has it together or they know where they're going.
yeah,
Um, it's it's hard in our day and time, and maybe it's always been hard for people who are not like, I'm going to do this career and this is the path for my life. If you're not that kind of person, it's a little bit hard to explain to people what you're doing when really what you're just doing is following your interests or your curiosity, like you said.
yeah.
Like, there's no one right way to do your life,
Mhm.
and no one's life is right for you. Like, you have to do your own life.
Yeah.
There's no one size fits all. And I think that's important. Like, if I was 20 and someone would have just said, hey, there's no one size fits all, everyone's just winging it, even
Hmm.
though we all, even though you look at someone and they look like they have it together, we're all just winging it. I think that
Yeah.
would have been good to know. And I still tell myself that now a lot. Like, I look at other people and I'm like, oh, they look, like you said, so confident, or like they have their act together, or like they know where they're going. And I'm just like, they're just winging it just like me.
Hmm.
Like, I'm
Yeah.
following my interests just like you're following your interests. And that's one of my favorite things to do, is to let my curiosity lead me, because I feel like it never lets me down.
Hmm.
Like you said,
Interesting. Yeah.
you were in the library and you're like looking at this, looking at this, looking like there's this whole world of ideas and possibilities that open up to you as you open your mind to those interests.
Yeah. And I had been, in a sense, held back for so long, and you could say I'm held myself back. But once I got a taste of it, I've never stopped.
Yeah,
But
like,
there's, there's just more. There's more. There's always more. There's more
yeah.
peace. There's more love. There's more information. There's everything. There's in relationships. You know, I had a hard time with relationships because
Mm-hmm.
I had no sisters. I was very insecure. I didn't know how to act around girls at all when I was young. So I didn't get in, I hardly got to know any at all for till I was past college, which I didn't finish. Um, but little by little, I've learned to open up. It wasn't like something was wrong with the women. It was like my level of God, my understanding of myself, how to be guided, all that sort of thing was just lacking. And the more the more I got confidence in opening up to people. When I was young, if something was really bothering me, something very personal, I did
Mm-hmm.
not tell anybody ever. I did not feel safe
Mm-hmm.
to do that. Certainly not with my parents. So it kind of extended to other people too. So I just didn't. I kept it bottled up like a lot of men do, but it stayed that way until it was like I got desperate. It was like I have to open up a little bit, take take the pressure off, or I'm gonna die.
Yeah.
My life was gonna end. So that's what I did, and each time I did it, got a little bit easier, and I felt a little better until I just got confident enough that now sometimes I don't want to shut up.
Now, so Well,
because I like it so much. And
yeah.
then, you know, yeah,
Well, it's almost like once you get a taste of freedom
hmm
to express yourself, or freedom to follow your interests, or freedom just to be who you are and not try to be someone else. Once you get a taste of that, it feels so good, and it becomes really the only thing you want.
yeah,
And you're willing to leave your church. You're willing to shift your relationships. You're willing to find new and inventive ways that aren't like the old ways. They're new
right,
ways, so that you can have that experience of yourself, of being free,
yes.
free to be your own life.
hmm
Yeah, yeah.
When my parents didn't allow us to go to movies, to dance, of course, no drinking and smoking and all that. But
Mm-hmm.
it was, and rock music was of the devil. So it just felt like separate from my generation, kind of. I didn't know
Mm.
how to live. I didn't know how to handle myself. I didn't.
Yeah.
It felt very uncomfortable. So I kept going back to the Bible, trying to find answers there. But it just didn't work really till I left that way of thinking
Right.
and just expanded. And now there's some things in the Bible I love,
Yeah.
but most of it I just ignore.
Yeah. I mean, that would be like we could have like a whole nother little discussion on working with the Bible in a freeing way, rather than a way to imprison yourself, rather
Yeah,
than using it as a tool to make you wrong. So
yeah.
that's a whole nother conversation, which I would love to have. But
Mhm.
let me just recap what you said, and then I'll see if there's any last little thing that you wanted to say. And like some of the things I'm going to borrow for myself, Brennan, and I'm going to start saying to myself, don't try to copy someone else's life. Your path is valid.
Mhm.
Um, don't fall into the trap of believing that someone else has it together and
Yeah,
that I should be like them.
yeah.
Do what works for you, do what works for yourself, and know that you have what's in you
Mhm.
to guide you and lead you, following
Yeah,
your interests, following your curiosities. I feel like that's the way guidance nudges us, like our intuition nudges us with our interests. And it keeps life exciting, at least it does for me. Oh yeah, and make lots of mistakes. I used to be so afraid of making mistakes because I was so hard on myself. I
yeah.
was like, if I made a mistake, I would want to crawl in a hole and die. I was the one who was like crucifying myself. So I
hmm
love the idea of like just claiming it. I'm just going to make lots of mistakes. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to go boldly and make mistakes.
Yeah.
Brennan, is there anything else that you want to tell your beautiful 20-year-old, 20s self, even your 30s self? It doesn't matter. Any last little words?
Yeah. Well, just this one thought that uh, I would tell my 20-year-old self, in a few years,
Yeah.
a book is going to be published called A Course in Miracles. Look for it. It won't make much sense to you, but ask for God to guide you, Holy Spirit to guide you. And because there are answers to that, it makes, to me, it corrects errors that are in the Bible.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
So very useful in so many ways.
Mm. I love
Uh,
that. I love that. It's kind of like we're playing with time, like we're now, and then you're going back to your 20s, and they're saying in a few years something will be published that'll be very helpful. This is really fun to go on this time travel with you.
yeah, right.
All right, Brennan, I think we'll just wrap it up right there. Yes.
And just make sure that I didn't put myself under pressure. I would say, look, even if
Oh,
you follow none of this, don't worry about it. You'll end up all right in the end. So just have fun. Have an adventurous life.
yes. Oh, right. I remember you saying don't take yourself so seriously.
Yeah.
Perfect. Perfect. Okay, thank you, Brennan. So we'll just wrap it up there. Let's say goodbye to all of our beautiful family, our world family. Bye, everyone. Thank
Love you all.
you.